Alright, hello everyone, Happy New Year, Happy 2019 to all of you. And we are super excited for this QPR ProcessAnalyzer 2019.1 release. I'm your host, my name is Irene. I'm sitting here with the two presenters for today's release webinar. Next to me, we have happy as always, Demo.
Yes, hi everybody, Timo here, and I'm so happy to show you the goodies for today.
Yes, and then we have the product manager, Olli.
Yes, hello, Olli Vihervuori, so product owner for Process Analyzer and QPR UI.
Yes, so we are delighted to have the presenters and all the participants here with us today. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, I will just turn off my webcam. Okay, so today we are talking about obviously QPR Process Analyzer within our QPR Business Operating System portfolio, especially about the operational and intelligence side. And then we will go through the webinar, and if you have any questions, comments, feedback, just feel free to throw it at us, and then we're happy to hear from you. And you can find the recording of this session as well as the webinar slides in QPR community. So register now if you haven't already. So I'll just make Demo the presenter, and then Demo will go through with us the new features.
Yes, thank you, Irene. Very good. Okay, so let me know when you see the slides. You can see the slides. Okay, excellent. All right. So the goodies for today. Welcome to 2019. We have 3 new nice improvements for you, and I'm happy to go them through. Please write anything to the chat box if you have any questions. So conformance checking is the main topic for today, and we are introducing 2 fabulous features. We have now the conformance checking revealing the root causes for those non-conforming cases. So conformance checking, and then now as the first product in the markets, we can actually see the root causes using the influence analysis methodology, which gives you those ones who are conforming and those who are not conforming. Okay, so finding the root causes, and then the second topic is that, okay, what about if you don't have your design model? So how do you run the conformance checking without design models? Well, now we have one new approach for you to show, which is automatically created design models. And I'm happy to show you how you can take the as-is data and use that, the most common variables, variations, to create the design model based on the as-is situation. And then, of course, you can then further continue writing the design model further. And then the third feature is the export to Microsoft Excel and Word and PDF directly from the end user web interface. And that's sort of, we have the Excel client, which is the leading Excel integrated process mining product in the markets, and now also our web user interface is capable of exporting data to Excel and Word and PDF very easily. So this is the content for today, and let's get into the first feature, which is the conformance checking. So let's remind a little bit what is the conformance checking. It's obviously the case where you have a design model to begin with. So design model is your starting point. This is the way how you want your processes to run. So you have a design model. And in this example, we are using the BPM and syntax. And here we see that the sales order must be created first. And then alternatively, either you go to the purchase order created, or then you take the other route. And if you take the other route, then you first do the picking. And then alternatively, the customer comes to pick up, or you do the shipment, and then the delivery is complete. So there are like 3 different business models for this business. One of them is just using the purchase orders to the suppliers. The other ones, you have the store, the goods, and then the pick up or shipment. And then once this part is done, then two things must happen, and they can happen in parallel. So two things are the invoice needs to be created and payment is received after that. That is one thing. So invoice must be created and the payment must be received. And then another thing that must take place is the confirmed delivery date has to be here. So this basically means that the confirmed delivery date must be after the delivery completed. Or if it's the purchase order to the supplier, then still there has to be a confirmed delivery date. Okay, so this is how the design model goes. Now what we have here is the discovered as is process model. This is created automatically by Process Analyzer based on the event data and the case attribute data that has been loaded into the tool. And that is showing a process. And now the thing is, here is the conformance analysis. So this is the super good conformance analysis that QPR ProcessAnalyzer has had already for a long time. It is a token-based conformance analysis running each case through the design process model and checking whether there are non-conformances. And here you can see the list of the non-conformances. So these are the reasons why the cases are failing and percentages. So this is telling you exactly the sort of the non-conformance reasons. It's telling you that what is exactly missing or too much or what is happening there. But the thing is, if I'm now the process developer and I would now need to develop our processes or our business, if I'm the business owner, business leader, if I need to now get rid of the non-conformances, if I need to now do something, how do I focus my efforts? Because this conformance analysis as such doesn't tell me the areas that are failing. It tells the reasons, but it doesn't tell that, okay, where are the picking done failing or deliveries are changed? What are the areas? So now the step number 4 is obviously the root cause analysis. So very easy to use QPR root cause analysis based on the influence analysis is now also used here with the conformance analysis. So we see now that, okay, in average 53% of cases are non-conforming, so they are failing. As we already see in these statistics here, 47 are conforming, 53 not. So 53 are non-conforming, but we see that if the region is Chicago, then 84% of the cases are non-conforming. So clearly there is a problems in Chicago, a lot of problems. The other thing is that if the account manager is Mary Wilson or the product group is Hats, then there are like a high percentages over here. So these are the areas where we are not conforming. And on the other hand, the best practice areas, region New York, only 35% of cases are kind of non-conforming. So a lot of them are according to the process. And we even see that with the supplier Jeans International, only 1% is non-conforming. So this is a very good best practice example. So obviously they are doing something very well in this area, although the amount of cases is not that big, but this percentage is so much away from the average that it is listed here as a best practice area, as is the influence analysis, root cause analysis algorithm implemented. So this root cause analysis takes the amount of the cases and then the percentage, both of them into account when showing the figures. So this is the root cause analysis for the conformance analysis. And I'm actually very happy to show the feature also from the product. If you have any questions, please type in the chat box right away. But let me go to the product. Yeah, here we go. So first of all, you see here the QPR ProcessAnalyzer front page, web page, and conformance analysis is nicely here. Just the second feature over here, and you see the 47% of conforming cases. And here is the design model that we were looking at. Of course, you can freely modify this. You can create your new boxes over here and make changes to this process model. It's a web-based environment. But this is now our design model, and let me let me a little bit. So I have this closing this one here. So we have here the process flow chart, and as we see, the 47% cases are conforming, and here we see the reasons for non-conformance. And now the finding the root causes is super simple. You just click here and the system is calculating, and as we see, the region Chicago is high in the list, and Mary Wilson and all the other stuff is there. And then in the bottom of the report, you see the good behaving areas. And of course, this can be modified. How many are you going to see, the top 20 or top 10 or top 100 reasons? So there's a lot of reasons, and now the most important ones are here as the root causes. And this can be further customized to show only one particular area. For example, if we only want to see the region Chicago, then we can always go here and select only the Chicago cases. Let's say here, region, and we take the Chicago, which is the red one, and we say that include only these cases. So we will see here that inside Chicago, which is the problem area, we see that the product group shirts is failing 100%. So none of the cases there are conforming. So clearly there is a problems over there. And then the customer group men also, all of the men buying in Chicago are non-conforming with the process. And on the other hand, we see that even in Chicago, some other places like the product group jeans is always conforming. So 0% is non-conforming. So you can identify very well what is the root cause, where do you need to direct your business improvement resources and efforts with this conformance analysis connected to the root cause analysis. So this combination, and then using the drill down area here, now we could just continue the drill down very easily, taking, for example, the product group. Okay, what is in the product group shirts? What is it that is failing here? The process goes on, so you find precisely the problem areas over here. But it was 100%, so of course everything is here a problem area. But this is the way how the analysis goes on further, drill down to find the exact places. All right. Feel free to ask any questions, and let me go forward unless any comments in the room. No?
Yeah. Looks good.
Yeah, I read it. You think it looks good? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right, let me switch to the PowerPoint. Okay, here we go. So the second thing, well, what do we do if we don't have the design model? Remember that the conformance checking is comparing your as-is real situation with the design that you made. So we want the process to be done in a certain way. Okay, so what do we do if we don't have the design models? Well, the obvious answer is that we just go here and edit and use these features to create the activity boxes and create a flow chart that we want. Okay, that's the answer. But now in this release, we have a new functionality of automatically creating the design models. So let me show you first from the slides point of view, how do we do this automatically? Well, actually, why do something with the slides when you can do it with the product right away? So just change my mind, and let's see, we are running the process, and I'll remove the filters that we were doing in the beginning of this demo. So I saw that we have here the process flow chart, and let me just take away this one because I don't want this confirm delivery date now to be part of the process, but this is the process I want to improve. And now the thing is that in QPR ProcessAnalyzer, we have a variation analysis. So from this variation analysis, we see the most common process variants in this data. And of course, now it's showing 5, but let me show you like a bit more so that you get the idea that there is always like a lot of variations in the data. So these kind of process variants are there. Now, when we look at more detail in the first ones, I'll take back to the top 5. So we see that these are the top 5 process variations. So sales order created, picking done, shipment sent, delivery completed, invoice created, payment received. Yeah, this is very good. I will select this one. Then I check this shipment invoice. This is lacking the delivery completed. So no, this is not a good variation. I am not going to include this one. This is not acceptable. The third one, purchase order, invoice, payment. Yes, looks good. I'll take that one. And then from these others, there's a customer pickup, delivery completed, invoice. Yeah, I take this one too. There is 2 pickings done in this, and this is not like what I wanted. But these 3 are okay. So I select these 3 variants and then include only the cases. So now what I have is only these 3. So all the cases are according to these 3 variants. Now I go to the conformance analysis, which of course now remembers the same settings we have been doing. So now I take the automatically create the design model, which is a new button. So now we can create the design model automatically based on the variations that we selected. So I create the tasks, and here the process model is. So the layout is not optimized, but the content is exactly what we wanted. I will show you this step from the slides, that the slides say that we take the variations, we create the task, and we get this process model. Now what we want to do, what I did manually is just repositioning these activities to get this flow chart. Of course, I can start to do that also in this demo. I can start putting these to the places where I want. But of course, for the software itself, it understands the process without reformatting. So I will just go with this basic layout and say that close. And now we see all the processes, all the cases are conforming with the results. So basically, now what I want to do is that I want to take away that process, that limitation in this variation analysis. So let's go here and remove the variations filter. All right. And now let's go back to the conformance analysis. And what we see is that now comparing the process against this design model that we created automatically, we get 53% of conforming cases. So a little bit more are conforming than with the original model that I had. So I have this design model, and then comparing all the cases against that, I get the results. And of course, I can now even go to the root cause analysis that is now showing the main reasons for being non-conforming against the design model that we created automatically. All right, so this is basically the way how this automatically creating the design models works. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to point out. I will just show the slide that yes, running the conformance checking, enjoying the results, and there was the possibility also to do the root cause analysis for that. So 2 features out of 3 are now covered, and let me go to the oh well, in this case, anything Olli want to add to this? How do you feel about this, creating the models automatically?
Well, looks excellent and amazing feature to me. So, and very much that's the flexibility of the conformance analysis. So you don't need to anymore draw manually the design process there.
Yeah. No spelling mistakes, because the computer is giving you the exact label texts. And then you can use the variations as the starting point, or if you want to have only one particular like a region as your sort of the design model source, then you take only that region and only maybe some products. And you can create the filters in whatever way you want.
Regarding this feature, we have a question.
Okay.
So this person wants to know, is it possible to import models from ARIS?
Okay, the importing functionalities, there's a lot of importing functionalities, and you can basically just simply load a model by just importing the BPM and diagram. And there the question is that if you have done it in ARIS, then can you create this BPMN? And that little bit depends on what kind of settings you have used in ARIS. So my advice is that if you contact us, we can discuss a bit further about like how does it go. But the main point is if you export from ARIS to BPMN format, then you can import that file to this editor. And if needed, then you can do some fine tuning, for example, adding these parallel gates and so on. Is there only something you want to add to that?
Yeah, that is how it works. So it's compatible with the standard BPMN 2.0 XML format. So any tool which you can use to export that format, you can then import it to QPR ProcessAnalyzer.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's move forward. And the third thing I wanted to show you is this export to Excel, Word, and PDF. So basically, feature is super simple. So let's just give me the possibility to go to, for example, our process discovery. And here, let's take the sort of, let's take our case. Okay, I guess I need to do something small, getting the headers, workspaces, and restart my engines to get to the correct discovery page over here. So now we take, for example, the case analysis, which is showing data in table format. So this is like whatever we select from here, we then see the corresponding cases over here. And for example, here we have cases that go through the delivery changed. And now I can also take these case attributes. It's a bit hidden. Let's take all the case attributes. So we get a nice amount of data. So these are all the cases that go through delivery changed. And with these cases, I now want to send these as a list to somebody, or I want these for further analysis. So I just export the table as, and my favorite is the Excel format. So I just take it from there, and then you see the file is over here. So this is the Excel file, and then I can just simply open the Excel file. Yes, like that. And here you see the data in Microsoft Excel format. So I can use this and make a pivot table and whatever I want to do here in Excel, maybe show something, some further analysis of the data, or send the data to somebody, or whatsoever. So exporting to Excel is a nice feature to have. You can easily then send the information further, and of course the other formats as well, taking a nice Word document of that or PDF document are fully available here. Okay, this was what I had in mind about the 2019.1 as the new release. So I guess
we have a couple of questions.
Okay.
So this question is about the exporting.
Okay.
So is it possible to export the process map also to Excel, Word, or PDF?
Okay. There are a couple of possibilities, but what would you always say? Let's see. Do you have some? Because of course, always you can just copy paste, but that is not the same as the export. So obviously we can copy paste the flow chart from here.
Well, the BPM and editor that is in the conformance analysis, well, that can be used because there is export possibility, so you can export your design model. So, well, first author create the design model from your ASIS data and then export it. At least that is a way to export the structure, and then you can import it to another tool.
That's a very good comment, because when we think about how to export this flow chart, then obviously the question is, okay, what is the detail level that I want to have? Like if I go all the way to the 100% its detail level, then the flow chart looks like this. And you may not want to export exactly this one. So you are more likely you want to export a certain level of detail. So then, in a manner that I just showed you, you can filter out the cases and then automatically create the design model, which is now the new functionality in this release. And then when you have the design model, then you can save that as a BPM format. Yeah. Did you want to continue there?
Yes. Well, but what comes to exporting the image itself? Well, currently there is no functionality, but always you can take a screenshot, and that is a way to use it as a bitmap image.
Yeah, and I also remember that we did the BPM and 2.0 export directly using the sort of the information that comes out of this, but it didn't export all the positions and flow routes and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, it can be used to export the information content inside there. Okay. Did we have another question?
Yeah, it's a question about the QPR BPM and XML.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so sure if this person wants to know whether okay, so then this. Okay, so the question is about, can I use the XML export from QPR Process Designer?
And then import this model. Yeah, Olli, what would you say the current situation of the functionalities? So for the design model, so can you export from QPR Process Designer or Enterprise Architect? Can you export the design model and then import over here?
Well, yes, there is export functionality available there, but I'm afraid currently that is not fully compatible with the BPM and XML. So out of the box, we don't have that functionality. But well, there is the scripting environment there, so at least it is possible to create that kind of a script which create a BPM and XML format. And well, I hope at some point we'll get that kind of script out of the box available in the product.
Okay. Okay. Any? All right. If no other questions, then please feel free to send the questions also after this meeting. And let me then now go back to the presentation and a couple of comments what we can expect in the next release. So we have the release cycle where always after 6 weeks we make a new release. So maybe only you can comment something about the plans.
Yeah, so currently we are working with this folders functionality, so that is it's a great addition to the workspace screen. So then it means that you can organize your views to different folders, and makes the managing of the views lot easier then. And all right, then there will be training videos for Process Analyzer available. So those are then easy way to get started with Process Analyzer and learn the basics of using the product. So there, for example, in those videos, we'll go through different analysis and best practices, use cases, how to use the analysis. And all right, then chart view will be improved in the next release. So the chart view is available then in the Process Analyzer user interface there. So that's the chart there to make different kind of slicing and dicing of the data and have different measures there. One addition that will be there is that you can have, so currently you can have only one measure there, but in the next release there will be possibility to have several measures. So for example, you can at the same time see the, let's say, duration data and then volume data. So presented there side by side as different series in the column chart, for example, or then in the table presentation in different columns there. And also there will be a possibility to filter the data that is in the chart view there. So there will be a user interface where you can add those different Process Analyzer filters. So let's say you want to filter only data from a certain case attribute, or only the cases that go through a certain event, and that kind of things. But yeah, those kind of things we'll expect in the next release.
All right. So we have a lot of stuff planned for next release, I guess. And in the meantime, so one of the things planned for next release is this training library, and then that would consist of a lot of these training videos. And then in the meantime, if you want to check out more of our videos, that would be our customer interviews and cases. If you haven't already looked at them, they are Nokia, Messaboard, Terumo Europe, and Pirausbank. So from like supply chain to manufacturing to like in different industries, you can feel free to check them out. And then on our YouTube channel, there's also video for digital transformation if you're interested. So that's what we have in the meantime for you.
Yeah, I guess these videos are super fascinating. So there's the kind of the customer, there's an interview video that is, as you see, like 5 to 8 minutes. And then there's a full presentation in the QPR conference. And as our customer, you have the access also to QPR community, where you can find other related information to these customer cases. Also feel free to register to the community. But definitely there's an interview video and then a separate full presentation video. Yeah.
Yes. So I guess that's it from us. If you don't have any questions, you can also email us the questions and comments later on. So thank you for everybody for joining us today. Thank you all the presenters, and we will see you all in about 1.5 months time again.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.